Hello and welcome to Parently, where we tap into the unique experiences and perspectives of parents to celebrate the joys and honor the challenges of child rearing. With new interviews each week, this is a podcast for moms and dads seeking an empowering community and a little levity. Now here's your host, Kelsey Higgins.
Hello and welcome to Parently. A lot of exciting things to announce today. Number one, this is the first episode of season 6.
That's so many seasons.
That's so many seasons. I know you had to wait longer than normal for season 6, but it's because of these awesome changes, like the studio. We've added video, and all of our guests this year are going to be in person in the studio, which I'm really excited about. Another announcement, Emily Bauer is the guest today. And Emily has, in fact, been on Parently before.
I have.
Do you remember
That's
that
true.
even?
I absolutely do remember it. I don't feel like I am remotely the same person that I was when I was on it, because was I on your first season?
Let me remind you.
Okay.
Let me remind you.
Yeah, good.
May 2020. May 2020. Paige was 2.5 years old, and you were 14 and a half weeks pregnant with Lincoln.
Well, that's going to make me cry.
That is the last time we had you on Parently.
Wow.
So
that was COVID.
Over 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Has anything in your life changed? What's
I mean,
different?
Nothing. Kelsey knows me pretty well in real life, so that's the understatement of a century.
Bring us up to speed. Where to start? Where can you even start?
Well, fast forward from May of 2020. Let's see. I gave birth to a beautiful baby boy after my IVF journey, which is in the previous episode. I talked a lot about being a parent who is of advanced maternal age.
I haven't heard that.
Twice.
Did you make that up, or is that what it's called?
Oh my God, you're so much younger than me. I am so annoyed.
No, they called it geriatric. I was a geriatric pregnancy with my son.
This was an advanced maternal age.
Which is a lot nicer than geriatric pregnancy, which is what they called
mine. It was probably a both and situation, let's be honest.
Okay.
But
regardless.
anyway, I was 41, I think at the time, 40 at the time, and maybe 41. And so fast forward a few months, we had a beautiful baby boy in September of 2020. I gave birth in a mask, which is a whole thing in and of itself. And then life really navigated to something different. And I feel like my parenting is looking vastly different because my life has changed so much. I walked out of a job that was no longer serving me and completely decided to do something based on messages I was receiving in meditation. I mean, that's just the true story. And my life has unfolded in wildly unimaginable ways in the last 4 years.
Okay, step one.
You're going to have to reel me in. Because there's so much that you're going to have to really reel it in.
But step one, for someone listening that doesn't meditate, how do you start meditating? What did that look like for you? Because that's where all of these...
really fascinating question. Because when most people think about meditation, they assume that it's like you're sitting and here we are, and I'm sitting cross-legged. Totally. Which is true. And people probably don't realize that they're actually meditating when they really probably are. I guess in the way that I would define meditation, I am not a guru. I don't know all the things.
Yep.
But meditation can occur in the shower. Meditation can occur when you're driving a car, not real deep meditation, right? I also tell people that if you feel you find you have a hard time being still, active meditation is great. Going for a walk with your headphones in can be a form of active meditation. And really, for me, what it comes down to is allowing my very, very, very active mind, and I've had a number of years to practice this, like how to do that specifically for me, and I think it looks different for everybody. But that's where the real listening is, like, because then it's what is happening, what are the messages that you're receiving around you that aren't from the cloudy of your mind, and what's your to-do list, and what's your, right? It's really what is your being trying to tell you? What is nature trying to tell you? And it is really powerful, and it's changed my life. I mean, that's the start of the reason that everything subsequently exists, truthfully, is because I learned how to meditate and be still, and then follow through with with the messages that I was receiving.
That's the scary part, though.
Correct.
So how did you get
that's the trust
the gumption
in yourself
to do that? Because you're getting these messages that are telling you, in summary, what?
In summary, that I need to be doing things to create really significant human connection. It looked like a bracelet. It was create a bracelet for human connection, and that didn't make sense to me, right? And so some people, I think, have the gumption to authentically listen to what they're hearing in a meditation. Often I don't think that's true out of the gate. What I do think is true out of the gate is that life will force you into the situation. I walked out of jobs because they so significantly changed from what they were that it was like I couldn't stand in the same place and feel comfortable, right? It was like it forced me to choose. And in the forcing, my default then was to listen because I was forced to make a choice.
Yeah.
Subsequently, after that, I think it becomes easier because you understand that when you're listening and you're following with intent, that you will just witness the doors that open, and you'll be able to just sort of much more easily navigate and be able to listen and trust in your inner self. But most people don't do that because since we're born, people just continue to put layers on us and tell us who we're supposed to be. And we're not ever taught, and particularly as women and also as mothers, we're not taught to listen to ourselves. We're not taught to have big voices. We're not taught to do these things that are powerful when there is an inherent knowing. I will never forget when we were up north this summer, we had that conversation, and you're like, there is a knowing in me. And I was like, yes. And it's like, now it's time to bring it out.
I think it's fear.
5,000%.
And it's fear of failure. It's fear of money, losing money,
totally,
financial.
Which is valid.
It's fear of judgment. Like, what will people say about me? It's fear. It's fear that holds back everyone from doing everything that they want to do.
It is why my motto of 2025, I posted at the beginning of the year.
Ooh, exciting. You're hearing it here first.
And you're going to witness it here first. Welcome. There's a 100% chance I'll also cry, and some weird things might happen. True story. Everything you want is on the other side of fear.
Yep.
And that literally was my motto for the year. I posted it at the beginning of the year. And the thing is people always want to talk about how they're fearless. Jane and I, my business partner and I, spend a lot of time talking about how it is not about being fearless. We are born with fear because it protects us. If the fear is coming from the appropriate spot.
Yeah.
But being able to do things afraid, setting your mind into the understanding of, yes, I am feeling fear right now. What is that fear? Is that fear actually coming from excitement of the possibility of actually, what if this works? Right? Because that is a thing too.
Yep.
Right? And fear is an easy emotion to have. So I feel like a lot of things get lumped into the thing that is fear. But if you look behind the fear, what really is it?
That's a great question. It makes me think about someone who recently told me, people always say, what happens if? What happens if this fails? What happens if whatever? but turning it around and saying, what happens if it succeeds? What if I succeed? What if this works? Because we're so programmed to go negative. Okay, so tell me about the business. Bracelets, connection, tell me about it.
Okay, so I started the business. You would buy a bracelet from me, and then I made a connection bracelet that had beads engraved with sayings on them, such as "You are inspiring," "You are powerful," "You are enough," "You are worthy." So you would buy a bracelet and then get one for free, and you would give it away to somebody in the drive-thru, at Target, whatever. And again, because the messaging I was receiving was connection bracelets, and my line that I say all the time to people now is, I knew nothing about stones. I went to Sedona, where everything sort of unfolded, and I went into a crystal shop and did supermarket sweep down the aisle with Melissa and just spent hundreds of dollars on stones, but I don't know anything about them. So what a weird message to get, connection bracelets. And then that business was it was doing okay, and I was doing some other things at the time. And then there's a friend of ours who Kelsey knows, and Kelsey's husband knows very well. Our friend Brian lost his battle to AML leukemia in November of 2023. And I came home from the hospital needing a place to put it. And I designed a bracelet that's called the In-Between. And I told the story about why I designed the bracelet. And it was to honor his life, and that his life was valuable, and his life was full of color. And even though it was going to be cut short, he lived a beautiful, vibrant life, and we love him. And I shared that story. And then a few days after he died, I was changing the sheets, and I was bawling, and I walked into my living room, and my kids were doing something funny, and I laughed. And I felt immediate shame and guilt. Because we don't feel like we're supposed to or allowed to have any joy, even in our darkest moments. And I was not going to do grief that way, so I created the bracelet called Gratitude and Grief. And I shared that story. And then, as a full circle moment, that is the story. That is a connection bracelet. It was never a literal thing. It was about creating a tangible item for people to wear that tells part of their story. And once that opened, that can of worms got opened, it's been literally nothing but magic since. And so I tell people all the time, I have taken the thing that has broken me, and I'm using it to heal me. And I can't tell you how much power there is in that.
So, you've mentioned stories several times in our conversation. I wanted to tell you about something that you said on your last podcast in 2020, that when I was listening to it in hindsight, I thought, wow, that's crazy. Okay. So you told me about
You're going to say it's crazy. Yes. Okay.
You talked about the infertility journey. And at the end of our conversation, I was asking, well, what have you learned from this? What's the takeaway, etc. And I summarized some of this, but what you said is, when I share my stories and when I talk about things that I've gone through, I get more messages of people saying, thank you so much. It makes me feel less alone. I feel like I'm meant to do that. So if I'm going to take away from this, it's that I was meant to go through this experience so that I could give people a voice. You said that in 2020. Long before Sedona. Long before. I didn't do all this to make you cry.
Well, I mean, Kelsey, you know me. I mean, you should preface it too. I emote all feelings out of my eyeballs, but
It was always inside of you.
You cannot make that up.
Yeah, it was.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like that, you just literally got to bear witness to the magic that I am talking about when you listen to your soul. Like, it is like I wrote that script that day, and after that day, I just started to say, and I just started to believe and to trust and to listen to my being and follow it and go, right? And go. And I don't look back. I believe with everything in me that all things are possible. I have witnessed the most insane things and the most powerful transitions and human connection of my entire life because of bracelets. And that really is the message I want people to understand. Whatever it is you do, if this is your soul work, girl, then you are going to do it, and you're going to do it so well that it's going to change people around you.
Yep.
Because it's not about the thing. Do you love birds? Great. Then go start a thing and but I'm just literally saying, do you see what I'm saying? And then your community will follow. But the subsequent topic about that is what people need to also understand is that if you're going to do this work, and this is not a negative thing, but it feels very vitally important to speak to it so that people understand what is happening and they don't feel so alone. You cannot get to where you're going with all the people and all the things in where you are.
Yeah. Yep.
And that means that there is going to be a shedding. That means there is going to be a change in relationships. That means some relationships are not going to continue into this next leg of the journey with you. And that is going to be painful. There is no way around that. But you have to understand that you cannot get to where the hell you're going unless you're going to allow the things that are no longer serving where you're going to leave.
Absolutely.
And that is where people get stuck. It's too hard for them to let go.
Absolutely.
And you can't. You cannot stay the same. I am nowhere near the same person I was when I said that to you.
I know you're not.
And you can literally attest to how vastly different I am and how vastly different I move in the world, right?
So I think all of that is really good background for where I want to shift the conversation now, which is you are not the same person.
Mm-mm.
Your relationship with your husband probably isn't the same.
Not anywhere near.
How has this personal transformation impacted your parenting? Positive or negative?
Both and, just as many things are. There's a couple things.
How old are Paige and Lincoln now?
Paige and Lincoln now. So Lincoln just turned 5, and Paige is 8. Paige is extremely spirited, like her mother. Lincoln is really chill and funny. Some of the hardest things for me that I have had to navigate in this is that I am not home as much. I am not present as much, right? And I also look at my children very intentionally, and I sit with them and I say, guys, this is a season. I love you. I'm always with you. This is a season in the journey of what mom is trying to do on the grander scale. And guys, I'm not going to look you in the eye and tell you that you can be anything and do anything if I sure as shit am not going to role model it for you.
Yep.
And so what that means is mommy has to work really hard right now to get the train out of the station. Lincoln, we're going to speak train talk, right? I'm going to put it into something he can relate to. You know how the engine has to start up? And then it takes you got to put coal in it. You got to put coal in it. And there's a conductor and he's driving a whole thing and all, right? I got to get it going. Once we're cresting at 60 miles an hour, lots of things can get set down. I can enjoy a meal. I can enjoy the view. I can do all of those things. But I cannot do those things and get the train out of the station. So I'm in a season.
Okay, that's number one. And I think that is really important. There is a whole thing that we as moms tell ourselves too, that we have to be at all the things, doing all the things. And that's my own work, right? That's my own work to do, is
You have
to
to be
release that
everything
guilt.
to everyone.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because I'm a people pleaser as a human in general, right? And I, and maybe you can relate to that. So that's my work to do. However, one of the most beautiful things that is hard for me and for my ego is watching how, because everything happened, I mean, my life burned to the ground to do all of this. Like, I mean, literally, right? Like, it had to completely transform in order to become what it is. But I have watched my spouse, because of my own mental health, getting a business going, all of the things, step up into this parenting role that is so beautiful. Aww. And watching a partner, and particularly a male partner, show up in ways like, he's the one going to the Girl Scout meetings, he's the one taking notes at the Girl Scouts, he's doing all that. And then I have guilt because I'm not. And my husband feels empowered to parent and is an active co-parent, right? Like, so I have my own feelings about it, but it is the most beautiful thing in the world to witness, because most of the time we just overcompensate, I think, also for our partners, right? And we just assume that they can't, so we just do.
I don't think Andy can't. I just think I can do it better.
Totally. And that's totally valid.
I
Listen.
Can do it better.
That's Adam. Adam is always, I mean, you know me. Listen, listen, Kelsey and my husband, this is not a joke. Can I call you guys out? Are you so scared about what's going to come out of my mouth?
I'm so interested about what you're about to say. Please. Kelsey, are having an affair?
No.
Okay.
Not even close. Kelsey and my husband exchange dishwasher photos of how our spouses load how me and Andy load the dishwasher. And they literally complain to each other about how Andy and I load the dishwasher. That is a real thing, and it makes me laugh so hard.
It's a healthy outlet for both of us. It really, truly is.
I mean, so I mean, there's all kinds of things with parenting too, right? But mostly it's about me managing my own expectations of what it means to be a mother, allowing for other people to also parent, because that's how it always was intended to be. It was always, it takes a village, right? True. No one has any damn village.
No village.
There is no village. And like, no one knows how to talk to each other because everything is crazy and COVID. And it was like, do you see so all of it, there is no village.
Yes.
And so what I am trying to allow space for is a village to show up and remember that I am human, and my children are meant to have a vast array of experiences in their life and a vast array of other adults that they trust in their life too. Mm-hmm. Right? Like,
it was never meant to be just mom and dad. No. Evolutionary.
Right. Is my point.
Is that a word? Evolutionarily. Nailed it. It wasn't meant.
Hashtag.
It wasn't meant to happen that way.
No.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
So you've given me your perspective.
Yeah.
What is your kids' perspective on all this? Like, you have these conversations with them, you say these things. Like,
yeah.
Do they notice that dad's at things and it's moms for other kids? Do they still ask you, Mom, can you do this? Mom, can you, like, where are you going to
Oh, if I am
that.
available, it's only mommy.
Oh.
If I am available.
Okay.
Right? I mean, daddy does the fun stuff and mommy does the nurturing. I mean, that's just right? Like, that's just sort of as a default. I mean, if you know me as a human, I mean, I'm a literal bleeding heart, right? So, like, I'm the nurturer. They have a hard time with it. I'm not going to lie. Like, they want me at all the things. And often like I'll try to go to the things. I have had a tendency to be distracted, right? Because things are like when we were on vacation, I couldn't have understood that. I had no idea what happened while we were out of town was going to happen. That was completely out of my control. And there's two of us that own the business, and both of us were out of town that weekend, right? Like, so I don't have the person hired yet to answer the phone.
Yeah.
Again, it's the season, right? Yet. So that when I do things like that, so there's been just a lot of like, I feel like I've been distracted, and I feel guilt for that. And I feel like my kids have a hard time because they feel like their mom's not around. And I want to raise independent, powerful people. And I think that means that I have to have some grace for myself, because I am trying to unlearn all of the things and become my own independent, powerful person. And it has changed my life. And so if I want to raise those people, I want to emulate that, right? So it's like I have to go through my own metamorphosis. It's like this unfolding of myself alongside my children. And I try to be super honest with them about stuff. And sometimes I'm short, and sometimes I yell, and then I immediately turn around and say, I'm so sorry.
I think that's really important to hear, because someone might look at you and say, oh my gosh, this woman who's creating her own business, she has a family and kids and gets to do all this cool stuff, and like how amazing.
Totally.
But for you to sit here and say,
it's hard.
You literally can't have it all.
You cannot. You cannot keep all of the plates spinning.
And that is something that
period.
We as women and as moms have been taught from day one. But society has just changed so much, even in 20 years.
You're never meant to carry all the plates, man.
No.
Like, this is what I mean. Is like, what if there was a community of moms where it was like somebody was like, I love to cook. I love to cook. My love language is feeding people. Okay. Can you cook freezer meals for these 6 families for the week? And what are you great at? What can you, like, why are we meant to care? We can't.
Emily wants to live in a commune.
Oh, that's actually true. That's actually true. And that's for a whole other epi. We don't have time for that on this epi.
If you're interested in a commune life, please reach out to Emily.
And it's not a commune. No. I would like to live in a pocket community, which is totally different than
I stand corrected. My bad. Tune in next time to hear more about the pocket community.
Okay. But yes, I mean, it just seems so, if everyone's trying to do things by logic, it feels like we're doing things all backwards. Like, none of this is logical. Like,
that's fair. That's fair.
Right?
Right.
I don't have the answer. Life is certainly not perfect. It is hard. I question myself all the time. I question my ego all the time. My marriage is hard. My marriage is vastly different than it was, because I even look at my spouse and say, I can't imagine for you, Adam, what it has been like to, you made a commitment to a person who literally doesn't exist anymore.
Totally different person.
Like, the person you married does not exist anymore. I would totally understand if he was like, this is not the person I married, and this like is not for me. I can't even fault anybody for that, because I'm just so vastly different. He has not chosen that, right? But it has absolutely shaken the core of our marriage and the core of our parenting and how we, right? Because the foundation that our marriage was built on is no longer exists, because I'm not that person anymore.
Right.
And so it's, when I say like I had to burn my life down to the ground, I did in all senses. In how I parented, in how I moved in my marriage, in the ability to use my words. Like, I found that I was so fearful of saying things out loud because I was afraid of hurting people or afraid of whatever. And I'm like, but now I'm holding, wild stuff. And you have to literally, allow for that to happen, and then you rebuild with the pieces that are left that are beautiful and full of nutrients, right? And let's build out of that.
One thing has always remained consistent with you, though.
I don't know what you're going to say to me. Okay.
Your dishwasher loading abilities
I
have never changed. You have remained
Huck.
a rock
At being
consistent
terrible
at
at learning.
at
True story.
being the worst.
I am the worst at it. I'm
so
okay with that. I
what's
fully
Adam's
accept.
perspective on all this? I mean, you're right. It is huge. It's huge to all of your priorities shifted and changed, and that's such a huge thing in relationships, is aligning on priorities and goals and looking at what you want your life to be together and deciding on that and agreeing on it. And it's constant. So all of a sudden, all of yours shifted. You pulled the rug out from under him. What was his perspective?
Well, we had therapy just before this.
Lovely.
So,
Give us a hot tip from therapy today.
hot tip from therapy. It's been hard for him. I mean, I certainly don't want to speak for him,
No.
but I would say that it has been hard for him, and rightfully so. Part of that feeling is what he articulated today, and I hope that I speak it correctly, was that he feels like he kind of gets to watch me chase my dreams while he's left holding
Holding
the
all
bug
together.
and holding it all together, and I've got to pay the bills, and you have taxes, and you've got, and I was like, that is totally valid.
That's fair.
That is totally fair. Right. And he's like, and so I'm here, and I have to, I'm managing all the things. And then another thing is often, if there's a hard thing, a thing that takes a lot of mental task, he just sort of assumes that I will delay it and just let him manage it, which is also true. And I own that. And I also know that from the way that I've moved in my life, I said the words to him today in therapy. I was like, I totally accept that. And Adam, you have set up that parameter. You have decided I offered to pay the bills when we first, right? I didn't do it well enough for you. You wanted to continue to do it. He has created that sort of idea of who he is and never used his words to say that he wants differently. Adam, if you have dreams you want to chase, if you have shit you want to set down in your life, if you don't want to do the monthly bills, if you don't want to mow the lawn, all of those are simply a conversation. That means we find a bookkeeper to go through and balance the things. That means we hire somebody to mow the lawn. That means we start having conversations about the pieces of your life that don't feel like they serve you and allow you to chase joy. Mm-hmm. Don't stand here and watch me have joy. Use your words and say what you want that's going to give you joy. Do you want to get on an airplane with Andy and go to a concert? Have a beautiful time. Catch you on the flip. But do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so there is this ownership that I will absolutely take of that, because I can totally see that, and that is true.
Sure.
And
not but.
Not but, right? So yeah.
It's ongoing, is what you're saying.
It's ongoing, and we're learning to talk, and we're learning how to communicate with each other. And I think, as you can attest to, when you have small kids and you're married, is my husband fun? I mean,
are any of us fun?
That's what I'm asking. Do you see what I mean, though? We used to, before we had kids, we just did all the stuff,
We're super fun.
And so I think to myself, I want to be friends with my spouse again. How do we figure out how to navigate back to that? And not because of anything, even aside from the fact that I'm totally different, even if I were still the same, just because of life and having small kids and maintaining jobs. Even if you try, I cannot. If you're telling me that you don't get lost in that, and that you just have figured it out, and you've got a great relationship through having small kids, you are lying. You are lying.
You don't think anyone can do that successfully?
I'm not going to say I don't think anyone can do it successfully. I think that people I think that people who have spent a very large intentional amount of time in their life figuring out how to navigate and communicate and talk about feelings when you're on 2 hours of sleep, I can sit and have a really great conversation and process out problems if I'm rested, if I'm fed. I mean, it's like a kid, right?
Yeah, sure.
Really, because it really is, right? I mean, why do I expect my child to solve math problems 20 minutes before their bedtime? I would never do that because that doesn't seem logical.
Correct.
So I just sort of
Basic human needs are
same applies, right?
Yes,
So like,
yeah.
you know, and so I don't know. I feel like I don't know how to be friends with my spouse. So that's one of my biggest goals, I think, over this next period of hopefully allowing things, I'm setting some things down where I can like figure out how to laugh again, right?
you laugh a lot.
I
You
do
laugh with Adam
a
is
lot.
what you're.
I actually, and I
referring to.
do laugh a lot with Adam too, but I want to do that more. I want to go back to doing fun things, I think.
Don't we all? That'd be lovely.
I know, wouldn't it?
I'm trying not to wish away this stage in life, but I often think about what it's going to be like when you're not needed all the
When
time.
it's not literally mommy, mommy, mommy.
all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
I like want to have a recorder on in my house just because I want to like see how many times between my two they say mommy in like a 2-hour period.
I told
Because it
Andy
is
at 8 a.m. the
wild.
other day, I said, the kids have said mommy 100 times. And he's like, no way. I said, I guarantee you they have said mom, mommy, mama at least 100 times in the last 2 hours. It's
But-
insane.
And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not saying I don't want to speak for Aunt, but it's just like they don't hear it because it's not directed at them. And it's not, I'm not being mean about it. It's just that like they don't retain it because no one's directing the conversation at them. And I'm like, it makes
Andy
my
doesn't-
brain like melt.
Andy doesn't hear half the things that are said to him directly, so you're correct. Things that are said
I mean, I also
indirectly
don't, so that-
to him. Yeah, well, that's
True
part of
story.
your personalities.
It is.
Okay, wrapping things up. I'm going to ask you 2 more questions.
Great.
First one,
Yeah.
what is your favorite part of being a mother? And to preface this, I gave Emily 0 questions ahead of time. I did not tell her anything.
I do nothing. And I actually said that's probably better because you're going to get the most authentic answer out of me regardless, right? It's whatever's most forward facing. I think my favorite part, truthfully, is watching your kids like learn something or watching the magic of something through their eyes literally there is something that shifts in my soul when I see true childlike joy. And that's what I mean. That's why I'm like, I want everybody to like chase joy because childhood joy, if you could bottle that up, there is listening to kids laugh, right? Like watching kids play together and watching them like like when we were up north and watching our kids play together and laugh and run. Like those moments, like when I talk about meditation, those moments I very, very intentionally, mentally, physically, all of it, anchor it into me. Like I will say, what does the air smell like? What sounds am I, like I will anchor every single thing into me about that, about my kids experiencing joy. Cause it is just the most special thing.
I love that answer. That's
What
so
do
legit.
you feel like what do most people say?
I don't know, run the gamut, but a version of that. It's
Of watching kids have joy.
Yeah,
Because it's the most pure thing that we can experience, right? It's just pure.
mm-hmm.
I mean, you've never heard of anybody say, I don't love it when I see a kid laughing,
Right.
right? So, yeah. Okay, what's the second question?
What do you hate? What do you dislike the most about being a parent? I know. I probably should have swapped those, right? To end on
I
positive.
dislike the most. What I dislike the most sometimes is the version of myself that comes out.
That would be my answer.
I do not like the version of myself that comes out sometimes. I do not like when I yell. I do not like when I am impatient. I do not like when I will just scream and swear literally at the top of my lungs because of my own inability to handle my overwhelm and my own emotions. And then though the immediate thing though is that I then also will allow it to be a teaching moment. If I freak out, if I lose my shit, if whatever, I just literally then say, okay, guys, mom's having big emotions, and
I
I'm
love
really
how you
sorry.
said shit quiet, like
And
you
I
don't,
said it like
like
5
you,
other
like you
times.
don't
Are you gonna
normally
edit
say
it
that. No, we're not
Oh.
editing it, but like that was hard for you to say naturally. You're like, oh shit, give me a break. Everyone knows you potty mouth. Oh, God. You're not fooling anyone. Okay.
Yeah, but you people don't know that. All the people that know me know that. No, they all think I'm.
You are. You swear like
Okay,
a
I
sailor.
really am. I do. I swear, like I said, I mean, 25 years in a bar. Here's the, I mean, just to like wrap it up in a little bow.
Here, please do, yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to wrap up in a bow because truthfully my Adderall wore off like an hour ago because I got up at 4. But really, like the swearing is just sort of a part of me, and I know that it can be totally offensive to people. But like the thing like my kids, the things we tell my kids not to say is like we don't say shut up in my home, we don't say stupid in my home, we don't like those things. To me, can do a lot more damage than saying shit. I'm like, okay, so are we saying poop? I mean, like to me, it's the same. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas like, anyway, so. That's a thing, but that's for sure what I hate the most is that I don't like the version of myself that shows up sometimes, and I don't think that there's any way to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
Because the second that you master one season of a child's like, right? Like we're in the like young years, right? Like that's going to change. And then all these other, because all your kids are doing, they're forward facing your own trauma and your own work that you have to do. And that's also something that a lot of people don't want to look at. They want to like talk about how their kid was this and how their kid did this. And it's like, actually, yes, your kid did that. And that can be not an appropriate behavior. And your response was not appropriate as well.
Yep.
Right? So
Both can be true.
And I think that it's a lot of reflection, and that's also a lot of work.
Love it. Bow,
Okay.
bow on the present.
Tie it up.
Emily,
Yeah.
you've been an excellent second guest.
I mean, I'm here.
Second
for it. Thank you
time
so much for having me.
Reappearing.
I did
guest.
not. I had no data. I didn't know it was the first. I didn't know anything about anything.
That's how you operate, though. I can't give you anything. Too much
No.
information. No.
Is a real. It's
No.
That's actually very true.
Too much
Yep. Nope. You just
You're,
gotta tell
this
me
is
to
a need
show
to know
up.
basis.
Correct.
Emily operates on a need to know
That's
basis.
absolutely correct.
And I know that about you. So
I love you.
you've been
I
a
love
great
that.
guest.
Thank you for having me. This has been great.
Can't wait to have you on again. And thank you, Parently listeners, for joining today for our first episode of season 6, which is wild. If you're watching this, then you know that we have YouTube. So please subscribe. If you're listening to it, subscribe to whatever platform you use. And tune in again next week for another insightful conversation epi. Maybe I'll start saying that. Sweet. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Have a good one. I've never said that. Have a good one.
Catch you.